Oh my goodness, we are back. After Dark was the first live stream that we would do. Of course, After Dark, late at night. Not too many Star Wars fans are up making content real late at night, live stream per se. And I figured I'd capitalize on that. But, working a full time job and being a parent, being a husband, being all those cool things. And usually I'm editing videos late at night. So it just kind of doesn't work out in that sense. So why don't we just change it to after dusk or something, after dawn? But today, I mean, we got three topics, something super simple, super easy, but really good Star Wars news. And I will say something that I did not add to this video today as a main premise is the return of Cobb Vanth. So you know me, the Silver Fox of the Galaxy, Cobb Vanth. What do we expect to see? Like, when do we expect to see him again? I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, Timothy Oliphant, amazing actor, kills it for Cobb Vanth. I thought I had a Cobb Vanth Funko right around here, but it must be on the wall. But anyways, like absolutely super, super stoked about seeing Timothy Oliphant playing Cobb Vanth again. A good rumor of mine, a good theory that I absolutely love is I really do think with Din Djarin and the Mandalorian getting the new Razor Crest that we see in the trailer, I think this would be a great time for Cobb Vanth to get the N1 Starfighter that he absolutely drooled over. I mean, we see that in the Book of Boba Fett. He's literally looking at the Naboo Starfighter and he's so interested. He's like, is that a Naboo Starfighter? Like, he literally interrupts the conversation that Din and Cobb are having just to be like, I like this a lot. And I've made a video on it too as well. I mean, check that out on the channel. But he literally stares at it and is just like, huh, I got to have this. So I absolutely get it. I mean, Cobb Vanth, he's an amazing character. Love to see him. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments for those that are in here, for those that are rewatching this on the playback. I mean, let me know, what do you think of Timothy Oliphant? He actually had a chance to go on to a podcast that I'm actually not familiar with, so I feel bad that I can't, shout that podcast out. But it's amazing that he's able to get on and talk to other Star Wars fans and other people in the community to just like let us know, like, hey, he wants to be there. Sorry, I had to turn my fan on. It's kind of hot in here, but it's absolutely amazing to know, like, hey, Cobb Vanth himself wants to be back, and I think he has a good spot in the Mandoverse. I mean, he's not brought in there for no reason. So, yeah. But let's go ahead and hit up these comments real quick. And also, good morning, everybody. It's a good Sunday morning. Broncos play at noon, about 55 minutes. Hopefully, we can beat the Eagles. We need that. It's good for my mental health as well if we win. And well, what have we here? What's up, nerd? Thanks for joining, man. I can't wait to watch your Chimere video. I got a good spot for that today. You know me, man. I love me some Chimere. Happy Sunday. How is everyone? What's up, Skywalking Ryan? Hey, guys, just dropped the newest episode of Clan Brandalorian, a conversation, the podcast here on the channel. If you're new to that, make sure you go check that out. It's something we do on the side. This is season 3. And the last guest we had was Skywalking Ryan. Really, really good conversation. Talked a lot about Andor, a lot of other really good things within the Star Wars community that you feel like you really can't talk with a lot of different fans. Skywalking Ryan's definitely one who's branched out in all factions of Star Wars, so it was cool to talk with him about literally a lot of things. And so yeah, go check that out. How Runner Base, hey, a great friend of the channel, always showing support. I really appreciate you, bro. Thanks for joining me on this beautiful Sunday. But what's up, man? What's up with you? Nerd. What we got here? Dude, when I saw that clip of him saying that stuff, I got super excited. Love seeing the actors want to come back. Oh, yeah, dude. Like, that's the thing, is it's like, this is like, as fans of Star Wars, we want to see these characters return. I mean, if you look at Cobb Vanth, he's such like a minor character, but such a big character at the same time. I mean, imagine if Cobb Vanth or Cad Bane didn't take out Cobb Vanth. He would have been a part of that fight with Mando and Boba and all them in Mos Espa, going up against the Pike. So that would have been awesome to see Cobb Vanth in action, but he's getting that shoulder fixed by Thundercat. Cobbler Vance back in Star Wars would be cool. Absolutely. Cobbler, the little apple cobbler. Autocorrect. I'm all in for more Timothy. Absolutely, bro. We need more Timothy. So fun, man. Absolutely. Characters should only come back if it's important to the story. If not, leave it be. I'm tired of pointless cameos. Yeah, I mean, I get that too. But yeah, like I said, I think Timothy Oliphant playing Cobb Vanth, I feel like he has such a bigger role in the Mandoverse. I mean, maybe he could join with the Filoni Endgame film. Maybe he can join in, play a big part. I do think the big character going into the Mando Endgame film would be Cal Kestis. I think this would be a good time for him to come back and be kind of like the main stage. And they are also working on the Jedi 3 game, so that's getting started. So maybe we'll see what happens. So yeah, everything's looking good on that end. I will say, Star Wars Holocron on X. Absolutely love that account because there's just so many good news, and it's all dropped really in like a good point, like throughout the day. Like whenever new news comes out or rumors or leaks, like that account will post it almost right away. But it will also tag the source, so it's always reputable to a sense. But I mean, you know how rumors and leaks are, and you always got to take them with a with what they are. So I mean, nothing too crazy. But I absolutely love that account. Whoever runs that account, let me know because we need to get you on the podcast and talk some Star Wars. You know me, I had to get my coffee today. Running real good this morning. To that point, bring Jack Black and Lizzo back. Okay, so you know me, I'm not a hateful person at all. But one thing I do not care for is Lizzo and Jack Black being in Mando season 3. I just didn't see the point. And especially with Christopher Lloyd as well, like such an iconic, pop culture figure. It was just kind of weird to see him in that episode as well. It's kind of weird. But yeah, no, we don't need Jack Black and Lizzo. If anyone wants a Red Wave 2024 Topps Chrome Jack Black, I will send it to you if you want it. It can it's like a meme card at this point. Excited for the third Jedi game, bro. Me too. I can't wait to watch you live stream that. That'll be fun. I don't think the Filoni movie will ever happen. Oh, it'll happen. It'll happen. If anyone's going to make a movie, it's going to be Dave Filoni, and that's going to get the light. I take every leak with a grain of salt. If I see it on screen, been hurt one too many times by leaks. Oh, yeah. We all have been. Jack Black as an alien would have been worked so much better. Yeah, to the extent of like a Jar Jar Binks kind of character, that would have even been better because just a little comedic relief, something fun, stuff like that. Season 3 of Mando was just not it. Yeah, I'd say first watch, I was just like, damn, it doesn't live up to season 1 and 2, but it was kind of more so the Mandalorians season 3. Like it was, showing Bo-Katan, Axe Woves, Koska Reeves, Din Djarin, the armor, Paz Vizsla. It showed pretty much everything in Mandalore and stuff. So it was kind of just like going back to the roots and showing Mandalore live action and some of that stuff. But yeah, really the only thing I didn't really like about it was just Jack Black and Lizzo's episode. It was just thrown in there. But yeah, a little more filler on that. But hey, the Minds of Mandalore episode was amazing. Really, really good. Filoni will definitely get his movie. It's going to be epic. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Absolutely. But yeah, let's go ahead and pull up X. And I can't find the KOTOR tweet on here anymore because I absolutely loved reading that. And it was just a little article. But I'm going to go ahead and share my Twitter screen, or X, sorry. And we'll get that popped up here. Here we go. Cool. Well, should we run it like this? No, not like that. Run it like this. Big head. Yeah, we can run it like that. There we go. Let's do it like that. So yeah, kind of looking at this. I can't find that KOTOR thing anymore. But anyways, like what I think is really cool with this KOTOR film, and I believe the name of the guy is like Luke Spears, maybe? Luke Spears? That might be his name. But anyways, he's a director and he wants to make a Knights of the Old Republic flick. So I think this could be cool in a way because like I'm not too into the Knights of the Old Republic. I never played the games. I never read like any expanded lore or anything kind of going into that. But at the same time, shout out Commander J Bricks because he is a KOTOR fiend. So I'm just kind of like, all right, cool. If I need to know something, I can just hit him up. And when I get him on the episode for a podcast this season, we're going to talk a lot about KOTOR. So any KOTOR fans, like, be on the lookout for that. I will say, I think this could be a really good thing, and it could also be a very bad thing. So it might be a double-edged sword looking at KOTOR being a movie. There are some like rumors of like set leaks and prop leaks and all that. So I mean, you always got to see, how that ties into Star Wars and like what's actually going to be filmed. I will say something that I think is great about KOTOR coming to live action or anything to the big screen of any sort. I think it's going to work out really well for those characters or for those fans that grew up with those characters and bringing them to light. Basically, I think giving those fans who grew up with Knights of the Old Republic and gaming, essentially, I mean, gaming is a huge thing, in society today. I mean, everyone sits back, plays video games. It's fun, decompress. And a lot of these Star Wars fans are getting good Star Wars games, Force Unleashed, Knights of the Old Republic, the Battlefronts, all those. So that's really cool if they're to bring that to like a movie, actually. So, I mean, for me, I'm not really too into it because I just don't know too much about it. I know a few characters, Nihilus, Scion, Treya, all that. Really cool. But, I mean, might as well bring it, I think it'd be really cool. But what do you guys think? Do you want a KOTOR movie? For real, it was weird seeing him. LOL. My first view of season 3, I didn't understand why people didn't like it. I rewatched it and went, "Oh, okay, I kind of get it, but still like it." Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the thing. It's just like a new album. That's how I always reference Star Wars and new shows. Is it's like, okay, look, guys, we have this thing that just came out. Now, like for instance, I always say like a Schoolboy Q album, like Crash Talk. At first, I was like, "Oh, okay, like cool. It's good to hear Schoolboy Q again." But I was thinking of the songs. I'm just like, these really aren't hitting for me. But then a couple months later, I'm like, oh, nah, this album's really good. You kind of just got to let it marinate, let it sit for a while, listen to it, watch it over and over. It makes things a lot better. And it just, you got to let it marinate. But yeah, I totally get that, bro. Go back to Rey, Dawn of the Jedi, and the Filoni movies announced at Star Wars Celebration 23. I don't think any of those movies will see the light of day. So they're just not ever going to make movies again? Is it just going to be Mando and Grogu? I don't know, man. That's the Old Republic is one of the best eras in Star Wars universe. I love the prequels, but the Old Republic is everything I want Star Wars to be. Now that's awesome. See, like I said, like I'm not the biggest into it just because I don't know about it, so I really don't talk about it much. But this is awesome, and it's good for fans like you too, man. I think a KOTOR movie would really excite fans. I'm down. Yeah, for sure, bro. A KOTOR movie has been in the talks for like 20 years. I doubt it will ever happen. Okay. You think what's gonna happen in Star Wars? What do you think is gonna happen in Star Wars? I'm star for Star Wars, to be honest. I'll take anything. That's kind of how I am, dude. Like I absolutely love Star Wars too much, and I feel like it kind of there's really nothing that I hate about Star Wars. I think that just stems from me just being a huge Star Wars fan as a kid and just like growing up. And I never thought, there'd be more than 6 movies because I remember growing up with all the DVDs and the complete cases like this. Check this out. So like this is what I grew up with, and I had all these. All right, let me pull the screen up real quick. These right here, like this right here, was like everything to me growing up. Having this and the prequel set. Like these right here, oh my goodness. Like this is my childhood. This is why I love Star Wars, is because of DVDs. Like this. Like they're so amazing. Like look at these. This takes me back so far. Like I will never play these again because they're just so perfect. I mean, God, dude, I fucking love Star Wars. Like that's all I gotta say is I fucking love Star Wars. So like it's really hard for me to hate something. Some things I'm just kind of like, okay, come on, we didn't really need that. But at the same time, I ain't the one making the movies, and I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna like it. But I mean, yeah, like it's just like little stuff like that. It just takes me back, dude. I'm starved for it as well. If they do a KOTOR movie, it's got to be done very well. There's a lot There's a lot from that era that shapes the way we know the universe, and as if they can't mess with a lot. Yeah, I mean, for sure, bro. You gotta it's just like you gotta think like even for like George Lucas, he had 4, 5, and 6 and made those and had that storyline very well planned out. Like imagine how hard it was for him to go back and be like, okay, so now this is where I really want to dive into the character of Anakin Skywalker and show the dark side tendencies of him, eventually turning to the dark side going down the road. So I mean, all that stuff makes sense. I get it. But yeah, it's kind of rough. It's kind of rough. Schoolboy Q and Top Dog back in the day was my jam. Oh, bro, absolutely. TDE is like one of the most underrated labels I would say in music ever. Sometimes stepping away from movie, show, album, etc. has helped. I went back into months later and I love it. Yeah, it happens. Absolutely. It does. Starfighter is coming out in 27. They're making movies, but not the ones they announced at Celebration. Yeah. I get that for sure. Like the Lando show, like I know that they had to like move directors, and now Donald Glover and his brother, are kind of doing that, and he's gonna play Lando. So I don't know. There's like a lot of those things like that in those shows, Rangers of the Old Republic, which I'm hearing some of the scripts they're kind of flipping in and throwing those into the Mando and Grogu. So maybe that's what that is. I don't know. Very weird though. Same. I even liked Resistance. Okay, so I've only watched a few episodes of that, and I was just kind of like, but I think it was the animation aspect. So if I see clips on TikTok or YouTube or anything of seeing like Kylo Ren and BB-8, Poe Dameron, like all them, like that shit's really cool. I think J-Rock was better than Schoolboy Q. At times, yeah. I would say, man, I don't know. The big four of TDE, I'd probably go Kendrick, Schoolboy, J-Rock, then Absol of like the big four. They've added like SZA and Isaiah Rashad, or I think the name is. But yeah, I mean, it's grown a lot. And I don't even think Kendrick's with TDE anymore. I have the silver box edition, bro. I need those so bad, dude. I need to find the others for the prequels because, dude, the cover art is amazing. I still have Attack of the Clone on VHS somewhere around here. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Yes, I have that DVD set. I watched the bonus disc with prequel trilogy and original trilogy DVD so much. I've sent them probably as much as, or I've seen them probably as much as the movies. I love behind the scenes. Yeah, and behind the scenes were really good in those too. I don't know what Star Wars is going to make. They have announced so many projects that didn't happen. I just wait until they have a PR release on a project before I comment. Yeah, for sure. I feel, dude, like, here's my thing. Could you imagine, like, for instance, could you like sit down and just think, like, okay, I'm in Disney, I'm working, I'm trying to make everyone hype over a franchise that someone else created, and we are continuing that legacy. Like that stresses me the hell out. I don't. I mean, I don't think any of us could execute it that well, could we? It would be so crazy. Like it's so fun. Like especially being a content creator, when you announce like, "Hey, I got a new, project in mind. I want to, post this. I want to get people hype and be like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing," and then you end up like kind of not going through with it. I feel like that kind of happens with them. Plus, they have so many people working at Disney. I didn't like the Mando and Grogu trailer. It didn't have any hook to it. Yeah, it's the first one. They'll release more that'll kind of more dialogue and more scenes to kind of get us into it. Maybe they'll show like Embo or something if he's actually in it. Hey guys, yo, what up, Mando United? I'm glad to see you here. 2004 box set was at its best. Had Hayden as a Force Ghost, but doesn't have Vader screaming no like the '06. Yep, the edition's going for it. I hate Vader screaming no. No. Yeah, that was pretty. Man, I feel like I never remembered that until like rewatching Star Wars with my wife for the first time. I was just like, oh, when the hell did he say that? When they throw that in there? That's so funny. I'm sure Disney is scared to announce anything. They don't want to disappoint. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you're Disney. Everyone knows Disney. Like that's a household thing. Like it's absolutely insane how like, they can mess things up easy. But it's okay. I just recently listened to SZA's last album. It was actually really good. Yeah, dude, she's talented as hell. Very talented. But cool. Let's bring up Twitter again. Yeah, we'll just run it like this. Cool. So going on to Manny Jacinto. Now, shout out to Star Wars Nerdies in the chat. He did drop a video about Chimere, and there's a little bit of lore that we know about, from what I know. So go check that out. I will be watching that after this live stream as well. And Chimere is one of those characters where I'm like, all right, check this out. This dude is amazing. Manny Jacinto. I know a lot of Star Wars fans have met him, and I mean, just here he's a great guy. You know, he's in the Freakier Friday. I feel like I'm going back way too far, but I can't find these damn tweets anymore. But I mean, just an amazing character. Like, there's something about him in the Acolyte that makes it think like, oh yeah, this dude really carries this entire like scene, this movie, this show. You know, like Manny Jacinto is awesome. Here it is. But all right, so right here, Star Wars Holocron. Congratulations to the Acolyte star Manny Jacinto for his inclusion on the Time magazine. Time magazine. That's a huge, huge magazine company. And he is on the top 100 most influential rising stars. Introducing the 2025 Time 100 next. Manny Jacinto. Look at the goat right there. Okay. Okay. Here's my thing on Manny Jacinto. What would the Acolyte be without Manny Jacinto? What would the Acolyte be without Chimere? What would the Acolyte be without the Stranger? Now, the Acolyte was, you know, made and teased to be this series about the Sith. It's a Sith story. You know, everyone wants the Darth Vader film, the Darth Vader series, which I would love that. But everyone wants these things. And when you look at Manny Jacinto and the character he played in the Acolyte, he carried the weight. I feel like that's what a lot of people, whether you like the Acolyte or don't like the Acolyte, this was the bite right here. This was the guy. This was the character that, you know, set the tone. So looking at Manny Jacinto being on Time Magazine's top 100 most influential rising stars in film and movie and series, that is awesome. Only thing I take from this is, hey, Chimere, the Stranger, could be coming back to our screens very, very soon. Now, will this be in the next 2 years? Probably not, because we have Starfighter, we have Mando and Grogu, Ahsoka season 2, we got Visions. You know, there's a lot of things on the table right now, but that doesn't mean we can't get Tales of the Ren, Tales of the End of the High Republic. So like a lot of these things where we can get Manny Jacinto even voicing Chimere and bringing him back. Of course, we want him live action. It's amazing to think like, hey, this can really go forward in a good way. I mean, Manny Jacinto is awesome, and I think he did a great job. This is also a thing that Disney would want to eat up. I mean, you look at Pedro Pascal, for instance. Now, we don't see his face a lot. You know, he's in The Last of Us. He's in Fantastic Four, Mando, all those, you know, good things. He's in the Eddington, you know, the show with Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, he is, you know, Pedro Pascal is everywhere right now. And this is the thing for Manny Jacinto. He's an upcoming star. He's already done crazy things. I haven't seen Freakier Friday or any of his other things, but everyone loves him in the Acolyte, whether you don't like the show or not. But yeah, like for instance, like it's just like Disney could boost his career even more. I mean, just bringing in Chimere in any fashion with Manny Jacinto. This is just, it's only up from here for Manny. The dude's awesome. He actually did a Chanel collab with Chanel on Instagram. I was like, what in the world? This guy is like everywhere and he's doing everything. So that is awesome for him. I am so excited. But let me pull up some of the comments here. Hey, yo. There we go. My screen was tweaking. Sorry about that, guys. Let's find the comments here. Okay, here we go. I'm back to the top now. Bro, that's what happened to me, LOL. I was getting clips from the video and found him screaming and went, what the fuck? When was this a thing? Emperor's Crusader. We need thick Indian accents in Star Wars or it's racist. Oh, okay. Manny Jacinto is a freaking goat, dude. He's so nice and he steals the show, The Acolyte. Yeah, dude. He's literally perfect, which is crazy. Mando United, I thought he was awesome as Chimere. Yeah, dude, he was. He was amazing. You can also search their page for tweets. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, I'm a donk when it comes to that. Asked him if we could potentially see the character again. He didn't confirm nor deny it. Just a hammer. Wouldn't be that interesting with a smirk on his face. Yeah. He knows, dude. Like he knows. Okay, the Acolyte. Let's say it's done and we're not getting anything more. Look at this though. You don't just show Darth Plagueis for the first time in canon on screen in live action and you don't continue that story. Manny Jacinto playing Chimere is one of the most interesting characters ever in Star Wars. I will say that one of the most interesting characters in all of Star Wars. And I say that because you don't know what this guy is. His story hasn't even begun yet. We've only just seen a little piece of it. We don't know his backstory. We don't know his lore. We don't know where he was at this time or where he is in the future, you know? So going forward, like this dude could help, start the Ren, as Leslie Headland was saying that in the Visionary book. Like he could very well have been the first Ren. It's and more so to me, it's like he doesn't have to be a Sith. It's the character kind of being like just this rebel, like this outsider, just kind of running around just murking Jedi. Like that's kind of crazy. Like that's dope in itself. He needs more. He needs more. Just wouldn't that be interesting? Would be. The Good Place. Oh yeah, that's one of his movies too, yeah. I read Lucasfilm has a lot in development and they haven't announced yet, so I'm sure they're figuring something out for Manny. Yeah. If you're Disney and you don't go forward with Manny Jacinto, you are crazy. Like you're absolutely crazy. And they listen to fans. They really do. They absolutely do. That's the thing. But here, kind of to wrap things up. Also shout out to everyone who's been popping in the chat. I absolutely appreciate that. This is awesome. Makes me like super excited to like do lives and stuff. It's always chill. But here's the last point here. So with Star Wars Starfighter, Amy Adams is potentially playing a Jedi character. Her son is the nephew of Ryan Gosling's character. So maybe Ryan Gosling is the brother of the dad of the child, or maybe he's actually not an uncle and he's just getting this character, this child, to maybe Rey, maybe to her Jedi Academy, or whatever's going to happen going forward. And we know Matt Smith and Mia Goth's characters will be the villains. They kind of remind me of from just looking at them and kind of thinking of what the premise of those characters will kind of be like they're going to try to intercept him and getting the child to wherever he needs to go. So there are a lot of rumors that Amy Adams will be playing Mara Jade. So Mara Jade was Luke's wife. They had kids, this and that and the fourth. So with Mara Jade coming to live action, a lot of, EU fans love Mara Jade. I think the concept of her is pretty cool. But at the same time, I'm also an advocate for like, look, Luke in The Last Jedi was portrayed perfectly. Like that makes so much sense to me. It's good that you can't go off The Last Jedi and you can't go off even the Book of Boba Fett with how Luke was talking to Grogu. Now, Luke talking to Grogu saying, you either have to pick this, relationship with the Mando and go with him because you cannot be a Jedi. You cannot choose that path and still be a Jedi. So to me, that's the same thing. Luke cannot be telling Grogu this and then go out and have a wife and then have kids. Like you just can't do that. That just throws off Luke's character for what he is. And then even leading up to The Last Jedi, like everything makes sense at that point. Now with Mark Hamill and some of his comments in the past talking about, like I made up my own like head canon and was talking about why is Luke the way he is in this movie. I don't agree with Ryan Johnson. All those things he was saying, there's a child that picked up a lightsaber and it activated. There's no more child. Okay, like that is heavy. That's dark. That's just absolutely insane. Like what in the world? And that's why Luke is the way he is. Now, to me, that doesn't have to happen for Luke to be the way he was in the Last Jedi, because I mean, I always make this reference. So imagine you and your twin sister, you know, you have your twin sister and Leia and your best friend and Han. They're together, they have a child. So now that's your nephew, that's your niece. But in this instance, Ben Solo is Luke's nephew. And, you know, family, blood, they're all together. Skywalker, Solo, it's all there. You tell your sister and your best friend that you will take care of their child and protect him with, you know, his life. And it's just like Luke when he takes Grogu. You take that same instance with that character when Luke told Din that he would put his life on the line to protect the child. Okay. So you know he told Luke and Han the same thing with Ben Solo. So going forward, you're kind of looking at those, you know, that entire instance and think, oh, yeah, so the nephew turning to the dark side, that is tragic. So not only did Luke lose his nephew to the same way his father lost, how Luke almost turned, how Luke was able to keep his composure. He knows the dark side. His family has been part of the dark side. He's seen it firsthand. He helped take down the most powerful being in the galaxy and took down his father, the love he had for him and everything. Family. This is the thing, family. You got to put yourself in their shoes to completely understand that. So imagine the way you would feel if your nephew went rogue. Now your sister and your best friend won't see their son ever again. And then leading up to everything that happened. So Luke in hiding on Octo makes even more sense when Chewie and Rey show up and he's like, "Where's Han?" So if Ben would have never went rogue, he would have never killed Han. And that's the thing, is it's all of these things add up and it makes so much sense to why Luke is the way he is in The Last Jedi. So for Mara Jade to come to Star Wars, and if she was Luke's wife and they have a kid, and this kid in the Starfighter thing is Luke's son, that just doesn't make sense. Like, that is just, it's a stretch. It's fun. I think it's a fun theory. Like, that's really cool, but it just wouldn't make sense, because then it would throw, you know, the Book of Boba Fett out, that little arc with Luke and Grogu. That would just throw that out the window, or it would make The Last Jedi even, like, actually a bad film at that point. You know, it's just like, wow, like, that just doesn't make any sense. But now, with all that aside, I do think Amy Adams could look the part as a rogue Jedi, as a lost Jedi. Maybe she was one at the Jedi Temple when Order 66 happened. I mean, I know we're getting a lot of that. So I mean, what kind of character could she be? Like, that's something that I think is really awesome. I love how they're getting the cast out for, you know, Starfighter. Couldn't think of the name, but for Starfighter, I mean, Ryan Gosling, huge name. Mia Goth, I mean, she's very prominent in the horror scene right now. Awesome. Matt Smith, I haven't seen him in anything, but I've definitely seen his face. He has that face of, you know, an actor of such capabilities of playing a villain. But like, what do you guys think? Before I check the comments, like, what do you guys think of like Mara Jade coming to live action? It's kind of a weird thing for me, but I feel like I've kind of explained it. Oh, let's go back to Chimera real quick. The whole point of Chimera videos is to drive interest in his character, so we get more books, comics, a special, or even a whole movie of his character. Yeah, that'd be amazing, and it's gonna sell because people love Manny Jacinto, and especially us as Star Wars fans. Yeah, never heard of her. Yeah, Hollywood source said that Ryan Gosling is actually the father of the kid, but doesn't know it and won't find out till the end of the movie. Wow, that's pretty cool. So we're just getting more things here. Hated The Last Jedi. Well, I loved it. But that's okay, though. That's all right. JK, isn't she like the assassin for Palps, or Luke ended up marrying? Yeah, there's something like that. Yeah, like, so she was supposed to get Luke, and they end up like kind of falling in love, which is kind of funny because it's like Dark Disciple in a way, but reverse. Um, so it's kind of a funny thing. Mando United, yep. That's why I didn't like Luke and Disney's work. It feels like copy and paste from the prequel order. Not really, though, because Luke being the way he is makes a ton of sense. And I wouldn't say it's like the pace of the prequel order, because Luke went back to like the OG ways of the Jedi because he really wanted to like get into that. So I mean, the last remaining Jedi, Obi-Wan and Yoda, were his trainers, like those were his masters. So like why the entire point of him getting trained by them would make no sense if he didn't want to continue their legacy. So Luke being called the last Jedi in episode 8 makes so much sense because technically he was the last Jedi of that order. And Luke basically could be technically a Boken Jedi, but not because the two people that trained him were those from the order. So I mean, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I agree with your thoughts on Luke and the Last Jedi. Yeah, I mean, it's just that's just how it is. And then just from being a human, putting myself in his shoes, and I know I'm not in a galaxy far, far away, and I'm not living with that trauma that Luke went through. I mean, that's absolutely a good reason why he is that way. It is fun, but I don't think she's married either. Yeah, I think the idea is fun as hell. I think it's really cool because, like I said, I am always an advocate for those expanded universe characters that a lot of Star Wars fans that grew up with loved reading about. I'm not a big reader, so that's why I don't dive too deep into those. And I didn't play the Knights of the Old Republic game, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. It's just like some of those things don't go hand in hand to where like I relate and feel those characters. Now, if they did bring her in, that would be really cool. And I think that just brings more fans in. And I want that. I want all fans of Star Wars in every single faction and every single corners of the Star Wars universe to come in and have their little piece of Star Wars. The Starfighter need a Jedi in it, though. Now, does it need it? No. But that's kind of the thing, like with Andor and why it had so much success. And we actually talked about that on the last episode of the podcast. Is it's like, look, like we really don't need Jedi and we don't need, lightsabers and all that. We don't need Sith. You don't really need it for it to be a good Star Wars. But at the same time, I think this is kind of what Sean Levy's leaning towards in a story. Matt Smith is Grace. He was in House of Dragons. Okay, so the House of Dragon is the prequel to Game of Thrones. I've tried to watch Game of Thrones 3 different times, so I know the first episode really well. I couldn't get past the first episode. And it's hard for me to watch new shows and series because if I'm really into something, now I got to start buying Funkos. Now I got to start buying, Lego and stuff like that. So like my big things are like Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and then of course Star Wars. Love Harry Potter too. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Starfighter. Really looking forward to Starfighter. I'm all for Mara coming to live action, but closer to the original trilogy, like Legends Thrawn's trilogy. I'm down for a new introduction for her though. Yeah, and it's like, like Thrawn, for instance. Like I just saw something on TikTok about Timothy Zahn, being asked to help give pointers for the character of Thrawn going forward in live action. And he said that, if they reach out, it's like a week after they did something with Thrawn's character and they're like, oh yeah, this is what we did. And Timothy's just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, awesome. Like they don't really bring him in, but yeah, that's a really good point. Like Legends Thrawn, like how they brought him in. They could definitely do something like that for Mara Jade. Just change her up a little bit. Even for like Maul Shadow Lord, like Darth Talon. Like, though she may not be canon, this is kind of bringing that character in a way to where it's like, oh, okay, this is what she is basically like brought from is, Darth Talon. So like, it doesn't have to be Darth Talon, but it resembles her a lot. It's like the inspiration. Trauma is not easy. I know people wanted Mando season 2, Luke and The Last Jedi, but you have to work through your trauma. I think when people haven't gone through something heavy in life, it's easy to judge. Yeah, for sure. Sometimes that can definitely, play in. That's why I'm just always thinking like, you just got to put yourself in Luke's shoes. Like, what would you do? You'd just be like, oh, my nephew left. I let down my twin sister. I let down my best friend. Now they won't ever see his son again. And I lost my nephew and my entire Jedi temple that I built that you see in, Book of Boba Fett being built for the first time. And just even the flashbacks of Luke, like, having his hand on R2 and they're just like looking at the Jedi temple that was built just being burned down. Like it just makes so much sense. And there's so much like you feel it heavy in your gut, it's one of those things where it's like, God damn, dude, that shit's so heavy. Luke had the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. I do think Luke slicing through some stormtroopers, PT style, it would have been cool. I love that. Yeah, for sure. I agree. I just don't get why we can't get books from 30 years ago adapted to movies while working with the authors of said books. Yeah, and it's also like, I don't know, dude. Like, I think that would be really cool as well. Like, I am definitely in your corner on that. I wonder if there's something about like authors of books and writers that sometimes that can't transition into making a movie or a TV series. Like them writing this really long book, can that translate or can we get points from that into this said series or movie? Like, is it the same art style? Will it work? But although I think Timothy Zahn, I've heard he's a great dude. Like I heard he gives freaking autographs for free if you have like one of his books or something. He's like, oh, you support me, I'll support you. Like that's crazy. But he made Thrawn. Thrawn is a character because of Timothy Zahn. So I absolutely agree with you in that sense because yeah, they should bring him in to further the character of Thrawn, and maybe they can just bounce ideas off of each other. It's a great thing, like it really is. But what do you guys think before we get off here? Go ahead and end the stream because we got the Broncos game here in the next 15 minutes. So before we go, are you excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu? Let me know in the comments. Are you excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu before we get off here? A few years ago, Disney tried to make it to where authors didn't have some sort of royalties. He recently said he start charging for autos some of the royalty battles. Ooh, interesting. See, the more you know, that kind of like helps me like understand like, oh, okay, so it is up to royalties and stuff. It stinks. But yeah, see, and that kind of takes away from it. That makes me feel bad for Timothy because like look, like I said, he made Thrawn and it's like, oh, they're using my characters, but they ain't even hitting me up about it. They're just telling me what they're doing with him. I don't know. It's one of those things, man. So excited. Yes, me too. I'm so excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm excited for the Mando and Grogu. Yes, I'm so excited. It's amazing. I can't wait. But yes, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, before we get off here, follow on Instagram. If you're here, smash the like button. Let's, get Clan Brandalorian out there. We will start doing these live streams probably maybe every Sunday morning. Just, something to get through, chat with the community. There's a lot of new Funko news. There's a lot of new Lego news, leaks, rumors, this, that, and the other. Star Wars is back, guys. Like if you really don't think Star Wars is here, it's really back. It really is. We have so many things to look forward to. There's so much news, and I have a lot of theories I'm brewing up. Even just off of this stream, I'm thinking of some things. So yeah, we'll have more theory videos out. Looking at getting some more Acolyte videos, just to kind of see what kind of lore we can do. I'm gonna have Star Wars Nerd on the podcast next month, so maybe him and I will create our own story going forward for Chimere. So yeah, make sure you subscribe as well, guys. I'm trying to get to 1K. Let's do it. Let's all do it. Mando and Grogu on a 7 on the excitement scale, and that AT-AT scene has me so hyped. Oh my god. Can you imagine being in the theaters and just watching that thing fall, especially IMAX, dude? It's gonna be so loud. This was fun. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you for joining me, bro. Always support you guys. Hey, bro, love from Scotland. Hey, Scotland. Love, bro. Always love you chiming in, Cole. Appreciate you, bro. But yeah, guys, with that being said, we will see y'all in the next one. A huge thank you to everyone who chimed in this morning. This was great. If you guys have made it this far, make sure you watch the playback. It'll all be on YouTube. Everything should be uploaded within the next hour. So make sure you guys go check that out. Make sure you guys check out the podcast called A Conversation. It's all on the podcast tab on my channel right here on Clan Brandalorian. Hit me up on Instagram. Slide in the DMs. Let me know you guys want to collab. You guys want to make a video. Anything like that, just hit me up. Follow me on Instagram. TikTok, we just finally hit 10K likes on TikTok. Awesome. Trying to get to 1K on there so we can start going live there as well. But yeah, Mando United, thank you for joining, bro. We'll see you next time. But yeah, guys, with all that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, share this to someone. If you trying to get a friend into Star Wars, send them over to Clan Brandalorian. Super chill over here. We love Star Wars. But with that being said, guys, we'll see y'all in the next one. This is the way.